What if staying ageless for 20 years was something any person could apply starting today?
The formula is real cows, and it starts right here.
What if maintaining the same physique for 20 years had nothing to do with genetics and everything to do with 6 principles anyone can apply today? What if the secret to an unchanged physique for 20 years was never about genetics, but about something anyone can learn?
Today, that secret becomes yours.
Most people can't maintain their physique for even 1 year. How has yours stayed unchanged for 2 decades?
Consistency is not a season. It is a permanent daily decision.
The first principle is muscle memory. Your body never forgets the standard you set early in your training life.
So muscle memory becomes a permanent physical foundation that changes everything about long-term fitness.
Your body always remembers, always.
So muscle memory actually works in your favor the longer you train. Capacity, the body naturally wants to return to its peak condition.
The body remembers and rebuilds faster every single time without exception.
That means the body never forgets its own peak. That is remarkable.
Training cycles are the second principle. You never train the same way continuously. You periodize, you adopt, and you never allow your body to plateau.
Periodized training, Kermet, that is the actual science behind staying physically ageless.
Adapt constantly. Plateau never.
What does a training cycle actually look like practically? Because most people just repeat the same workout indefinitely.
Strength phase, hypertrophy phase, endurance phase before it, rotating deliberately every few weeks without stopping. Third principle is metabolic maintenance, eating to sustain your muscle, not to shrink it.
Right.
Most people diet themselves out of their own physique.
Eating to maintain muscle, not just to lose weight. That distinction is everything. What does metabolic maintenance actually look like in terms of daily nutrition, Soward? Because most people have no idea where to begin.
High protein, complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, timed precisely around every training session without compromise.
Recovery is the fourth principle and the most underestimated one. Without deliberate recovery, your physique degrades regardless of how hard you train.
Recovery as a deliberate discipline and not just rest, but intentional physical rebuilding.
We are only at the beginning, and already the science behind a 2-decade physique is becoming remarkably clear. Stay with us.
The deeper principles, that is where the real answers live for healthy life.
Most people assume staying lean for 20 years requires extraordinary genetics, but is that actually true, or is that just the easiest excuse?
Genetics give you the starting point while discipline gives you the destination. 20 years of results are built, not born.
What is the single biggest training mistake that destroys long-term physique maintenance? Because millions of people are making it right now without even knowing.
Training without progressive overload, doing the same weight, same reps, same sets indefinitely. Your body stops responding when you stop challenging it.
Progressive overload is talked about constantly, but what does it actually mean practically for someone training consistently over 2 decades?
More weight, more reps, less rest. Small consistency increases compounded over years become extraordinary results.
How does someone maintain progressive overload for 20 years without burning out or breaking their body down completely in the process?
Deload weeks, planned periods of reduced intensity every 4 to 6 weeks. Recovery is not weakness. It is the strategy that makes 2 decades possible.
How significant is sleep quality in maintaining the same physique for over 2 decades?
Sleep is when your body rebuilds every single muscle fiber you broke down in training. Without quality sleep, your training is simply damage without repair.
7 or 8 hours of sleep, is that actually non-negotiable for serious long-term physique maintenance, or is that just a general recommendation?
Growth hormone releases during deep sleep. That is your body rebuilding and preserving every muscle naturally every single night.
Stress is something nobody connects to physique maintenance, but does chronic stress actually physically break down the body you have spent years building?
Chronic stress elevates cortisol serum, and cortisol actively breaks down muscle tissue. Managing stress is as important as managing your training load every single week.
So cortisol is literally destroying muscle, meaning someone could be training perfectly and eating correctly, but still losing their physique simply because of unmanaged stress?
Stress management is silent fifth principle that most people completely ignore. Control your cortisol and you protect every result you have ever built.
Muscle memory, training cycles, nutrition, recovery, stress. Is there a 6th principle that ties this entire system together?
Mindset consistency, the unwavering belief that your physique is a lifelong commitment, not a temporary project. Without that foundation, every other principle eventually collapses.
6 principles, 2 decades, 1 unchanged physique, and we are about to go even deeper into how any common person can apply every single one of these starting today.
These principles belong to everyone, not just athletes. Anyone who applies them consistently will see results that last a lifetime.
Can an average person with a regular job and family responsibilities genuinely apply these 6 principles? Or are they only realistic for professional athletes?
Every single principle applies to any person, regardless of profession, and the schedule adapts, but the discipline never compromises.
What is the minimum effective training frequency someone needs to maintain their physique long term? Because most people believe more is always better.
3 to 4 quality sessions weekly, consistent, progressive, and deliberate. Frequency without quality is simply wasted effort and accumulated fatigue. Completely false. Muscle responds to stimulus at any age. The principles never change. Only the recovery time adjusts slightly as years progress.
Most people over 35 believe their body has already peaked and maintaining their physique is no longer realistic. And is that belief actually true or completely false? Supplements are everywhere in the fitness industry. How significant are they actually in maintaining a consistent physique over 2 decades compared to whole food nutrition?
Supplements support the foundation. They never replace it.
Yeah.
Whole food nutrition built consistently over years will always outperform any supplement protocol without exception.
Hydration is rarely discussed seriously in physique maintenance conversations. How significant is daily water intake in preserving muscle quality over the long term?
Every muscle process requires water performance, delivery, recovery. Dehydration silently degrades your physique regardless of perfect training.
Most people completely ignore mobility and flexibility work. How critical is it in maintaining the same functional physique for over 2 decades without injury?
Mobility is the foundation of longevity. Without it, your joints deteriorate, your movement quality drops, and your training becomes unsustainable within years, not decades.
What role does mental consistency play? Because physically, someone can do everything correctly, but mentally give up on their physique goals within months.
Mental consistency is the master principle, and every physical result begins as a mental decision repeated daily before the body ever reflects it.
Accountability is something high performers constantly reference. How does someone maintain accountability to their physique goals when nobody else is watching or measuring their progress?
You become your own highest standard. The mirror, the logbook, and the daily decision are your accountability system. External validation is never a sustainable motivator.
What is the one non-negotiable habit that holds a 20-year physique together above everything else?
Inconsistency, that showing up whether motivated or not, whether perfect or not. The session you almost skipped is often the most important one you will ever complete.
Every principle shared so far builds toward one powerful truth, and what comes next in this conversation may completely change how you approach your own physique forever.
The most important part of this conversation is still ahead, because understanding the principles is only half of the equation.
Is it genuinely possible for a common person with no professional athletic background to maintain the same physique for 20 years using everything discussed today?
Every principle today was designed for consistent people, not exceptional athletes. The system works for anyone who works the system.
What is the single most common reason people fail to maintain their physique long-term after having built it successfully in the first place?
They treat their physique as a destination rather than a permanent lifestyle. The moment they arrive, they stop doing everything that got them there.
Aging is something every person faces. At what point does maintaining the same physique become genuinely impossible, regardless of discipline and consistency?
It never becomes impossible. It simply requires smarter application of the same principles. Adaptation is not defeat, G. It is the evolution of discipline over decades.
If someone is starting completely from zero today, and what is the most realistic timeline to build a physique stable enough to maintain for the next 20 years?
2 years of consistent principled training builds a foundation strong enough to maintain for life. 2 years of patience creates 20 years of results.
What is the most powerful mindset shift someone needs to make before beginning a lifelong physique maintenance journey? Because most people start with completely the wrong perspective.
Stop chasing the body to become the person who maintains it. You are building a permanent standard, not just a physique.
Every principle in today's conversation proves that a lifelong physique is never about perfection, and it is about permanent, intentional daily decisions repeated without compromise.
Permanent daily decisions, that is the entire formula. Not talent, not genetics, not perfect conditions, just consistent, intentional choices made every single day.
What would you say directly to someone watching this right now who has tried and failed multiple times to maintain their physique and genuinely believes it is no longer possible for them?
Every attempt taught you what works, and you are not behind, you are more prepared. Start again, and this time, build it to last.
Muscle memory, training cycles, nutrition, recovery, stress management, mindset, 6 principles maintaining the same physique for over 20 years.
6 principles available to every single person watching right now. The only question is whether you are ready to apply them with the same permanence they require.
A 20-year physique is not reserved for professionals. It is available to anyone willing to commit to these principles permanently.
Commit permanently, not seasonally.
Yeah.
Your physique reflects your standards, and your standards are entirely your own daily choice.
Yeah. Today's conversation shifted how you see your own physique potential. Share it with someone who needs to hear every single word of it.
20 years starts with one decision made today. What standard are you setting for yourself right now?